Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Good evening. Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT, postwrestling.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. You somehow found us here today. First and foremost, Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, 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 happy Halloween, my fair lady.
Yeah. Well,
Silver Shamrock. What is it?
yeah,
Silver Shamrock?
Silver Shamrock.
Yeah.
It's essentially London Bridge is falling down.
It is London Bridge.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Welcome to upNXT. Now, we know what you're thinking. We are your NXT friends. But today, we are your Halloween friends.
Your spooky friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of alliteration there.
Friends who...
frightening friends.
Frightening friends. Yeah. Welcome to our Halloween review. When we kind of started this podcast, we were doing all sorts of different random movie reviews, and we tried to tie things into different holidays and specials and all sorts of things. Now we have a Patreon for all that stuff, but we decided to keep with tradition, and boys and ghouls, tradition means every Halloween we review a Halloween.
Yes. And unfortunately this year it's Halloween 3.
Yeah, we really lucked out with this year. The night no one came home.
The night he didn't come home.
No.
Yeah, I was kind of actually looking forward to this one because I've seen every Halloween film now, apart from Rob Zombie's second one, which I know you say is trash and don't watch it, but I'll watch it because I've seen every other Halloween
second
film.
Rob Zombie one?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's bad.
But this one, when I was a kid getting into Halloween, I was pretty smart, and I worked out that he wasn't in this film. I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah, why
so
would
I had
we watch
the DVDs for 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. And that seems to be the case with streaming services as well.
Yeah.
Because, was it Shudder? Or one of the services I have all the Halloweens except this one.
Wow.
Because Michael Myers isn't there.
They're like, nah.
So they didn't want it.
Yeah, this is the one. So we reviewed Halloween and Halloween 2. It's somewhere deep in this free feed. If you go way back, playback, you can find the reviews where we talk about Michael Myers.
Yeah.
I love Halloween. Got the posters in my room. Obsessed. Michael Myers, the evil. He's not in this movie.
Nope.
He died in the last one.
Technically, he is at one point.
Technically.
Briefly.
So if you want to get smart.
Not.
Yeah. So we talked about Michael Myers and we talked about those movies. We talked about a lot of horror movies this year as well on our Patreon. Patreon.com/upnext for all the different wrestling and movie reviews, all the shows we've done this month. Spooky season is culminating. We did our Halloween Havoc show. That was the apex of spooky season. That was the knockout.
Yeah.
Great
Halloween
show.
came early, I think.
Yeah, really. It really, we're in this pandemic as recording this, and it's like, you can't really do too much things. You can't go to bars and Halloween parties without, raising some eyebrows or breaking some rules. And we thought, well, doing a Zoom costume party was really great. So we had a blast doing that, and that was fun. And we're kind of keeping a low profile this Halloween. We still got some costumes on today. We'll be maybe going to a patio or something. And it's cold.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, a beer in the backyard, perhaps. Maybe some trick-or-treating of sorts. But yes, Halloween.
We're just going to go and egg houses. That's something that we can stay socially distant.
Oh, I was going to
put
put razor blades and some apples.
Yep, that's a good one as well.
That was in the last movie, Halloween
Yes.
2, yeah. Which is still, it's not, we haven't decided if that's a thing that people actually did, because those are cruel people if you do that.
I'm sure someone's done it.
Someone's got it.
There were rumours of not a water park, but like a swimming place that had slides and stuff near me back home.
Oh.
There were rumours that kids started taping razor blades to the slides.
That's fucked.
So you slide down and just get all cut up.
That's terrible.
So that place got
That
shut
sounds like
down.
a Final Destination movie.
Yeah, not good.
Scary. Well, it is Halloween, and you've mentioned that you have the streaming services like Shudder, and you go through and kind of watch these movies. And every year I watch Halloween. I try to watch a few of them. I know you were talking to me off air before this. You happened to catch some of H2O, Halloween 20 years later.
Yeah, it came on at work the other day because obviously we don't have inside dining. I decided to put just sound on the movies, and AMC was showing all the Halloween films completely out of order.
Yeah,
they had Resurrection first, and then H2O.
Oh God!
So yeah,
trick or treat, motherfucker!
Bits of that. Trick or treat, motherfucker! Best line in any movie ever.
So I mean, this is the one without Michael Myers, and this is the one with pretty much no fun. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
So basically, the idea was to move away completely from Michael Myers, and every year or so they were going to release a film under the Halloween banner. and it would be a unique story set on Halloween, and they were going to target kind of all the different ghouls, ghosts, goblins, demons, monsters, witches that you have. So they might, this one is obviously Season of the Witch, and then the next one may be kind of a werewolf film or a vampire film or stuff like that. Conceptually, I think it's great. I quite enjoy American Horror Story, and I love how every year they do a completely different story separated from the previous season, and some recurring actors, but just you trust the branding, right? American Horror Story comes out and you trust it.
It's for the brand.
Exactly. And I think this potentially could have been a great idea if this film worked. If this film worked, and every year you can get fresh new like horror directors to put something out, but it's under that banner of Halloween that already has its audience, I think it's a fantastic idea.
Horror movies do it now. Think of like The Nun. That's under the Conjuring thing, but then they just kind of go off on the side.
You've also got producers, famous directors will put their name on it as a producer. So quite often you'll have like a produced by Guillermo del Toro, and you'll see a film by one of his protégés, which is very much in the same style of a Guillermo del Toro film. So you kind of trust that, because people that don't necessarily know the difference see produced by Guillermo del Toro and just assume it's him directing it.
Yeah.
So you see that, and I think it's kind of a shame that they pulled the plug with this idea. This film isn't great, and
That's the review.
No, but I think it also has that baggage of people come into it negatively or come out of it negatively if they didn't know Michael Myers wasn't going to be in it.
Right.
So you either come in, what's a Halloween film without Michael Myers? Or you come out of it going, where the fuck was Michael Myers? So I think it's got that unfortunate hill to climb to start with.
It's interesting because you would go in to watch, say you're watching TV and your cable guide is like Halloween 3, and you go, some Michael Myers, yeah, and then you start watching it and you're like, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Okay, well, where's Michael Myers? More importantly, where's the fucking witch? Because there ain't no witch. And the season must be the Season of the Witch. Yeah. The Season of the Witch. This is quite interesting. Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, kind of big success, I'd say. Especially the first one. Big fan. And John Carpenter, Jamie Lee Curtis, they've gone on to crazy big things. And John Carpenter's like one of the gods of horror, realistically. And yeah, this was pretty much him being like, well, we killed him in the last one. I don't want to make these movies anymore. We finished the story. Like, I didn't even want to do the second one, and we did it. So they're like, okay, well, we can just take the name and create, like you said, the different stories. And you're right. In hindsight, it's a pretty creative idea. It just sucks that maybe this was the first one they went with it, and it was dead on arrival. It didn't necessarily bomb, but yeah.
Do you think this would have done better if you had more of a star in the cast?
Sure.
Just to help it out a bit. I think the quality of acting in this film is pretty poor, I think, which is something I credit Jamie Lee Curtis in the original two, is she's so good that she makes it believable, and that's what's scary. You believe that character's journey in this fucking scary Halloween where this serial killer's killing all her mates. I think she's great. I think she's fantastic, and she's still great in the later films. Here, I'm not really aware of any of the cast in this film,
no.
And
the main guy,
none of them are particularly good.
The main star of this movie is Tom Atkins, and he's not necessarily a big star considering he's in a few other shitty
things he's done.
Scary
movies.
Movies.
He's got a big IMDb page.
This movie is not directed by John Carpenter. In fact, he did not write it. It's based loosely on some novel that they switch around and return to make this movie. But Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, it's by Tommy Lee Wallace, who did work on the original Halloween movie. In fact, he had a lot to do with that movie. I'm pretty sure he helped make The Mask. Michael Myers' Mask, which is William Shatner, Inside Out. So this guy had a lot of cool ideas for horror, and it sounds just like you said. John Carpenter was like, hey, I want to help you out. You're my protege. You can direct a movie. You can take over the reins of a movie and go with it. And unfortunately, this was the script, this was the movie this guy got and did. And
Carpenter did some rewrites on it.
He did, yeah. Carpenter had some, some effect to this movie, but it wasn't a John Carpenter movie. I believe he does the music as well in it, who just released some
Well,
things.
he wrote the main theme for Halloween, which isn't used in this one.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, remember that awesome character you came up with? Not in the movie. What about the awesome theme song that was super scary? Also not in the movie. He did create some new themes for this, which he has his whole like albums out and
stuff.
It
does have the dun.
Yeah, they remix.
They bring it in later into
They
it.
remix some things. I will say they do remix some things in here, and it's quite interesting. But I, as a true fan, I love the shitty like sequels that they have with Michael Myers. It gets into like witchcraft and weird shit and spooky cult stuff. They're so terrible. This one's still my least favorite. Maybe more so than the Rob Zombie 2 version, because that movie is also really bad.
I'm going to disagree, because at least they tried.
They tried.
You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
Some of the others are just fucking terrible movies, and you've already got the ingredients there of a Michael Myers and the awesome theme tune.
Yeah.
This one kind of feels a bit DOA, and I acknowledge they tried to do something else with this series.
Me too.
And for that, I'm grateful. Whatever.
Grateful.
Yeah.
Well, we're grateful you're here to listen to us talk about it here today, because I guarantee someone listening right now, or a lot of you, are like, I'm not fucking watching this movie, and I don't want to watch this movie. Pause right now. Go watch it.
It's Halloween. Yeah. Put it on.
And then come here to listen to us talk about it. Because we're going back in time to October 23rd in Northern California, in what it seems to be like the early 1980s, because this movie is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, 1982, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. And we start off with some guy running. He's just running. And he looks like he's being chased somewhere. He's hiding in some like mechanic place, and it turns out he's being chased by a scary man in a suit who attacks him, and he somehow kills the guy by squishing him with a car.
Yes.
Somehow. He escapes, and it cuts to some gas station attendant somewhere else watching Stonehenge documentary on TV. Weird flex. And we see like I
think it's to do with, they're showing this because there are all these kind of rumors about witchcraft and stuff with Stonehenge.
Right.
And especially, it's
QAnon.
There's a certain... No. You can't just shout buzzwords that are going around, and no, but there are rumors of kind of who built it and whether there's anything magic to do with them, and there's like a certain day of the year where the sunlight goes through all the holes. So I think it's showing that we're around this time where this mystical event might happen with Stonehenge. So just putting the sense of kind of witchcraft in the air.
But then we hear the song, the jingle, the theme. 8 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. And you will hear this 80,000 times in this thing. And the guy watching is like, Silver Shamrock, Halloween, sounds good. Get the new Halloween masks. Horrid masks. Glow in the dark. They're fun. They're frightening. Get the new masks from Silver Shamrock. And it's the guy from earlier, and he's like, help me, please, they're coming. And you kind of get like I mentioned, we don't get the actual themes, but you hear like remixes of the sounds they used in like the first one. Like when Michael Myers ever shows up, it's like, it's like similar.
Yeah, there is some just taken from the first as well later on in it. But.
So we see this guy. He's like, help me, I'm dying. These guys are coming after me. And the guy's like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to take you to a hospital or something, man. But it cuts to somewhere in the city, and we see these kids. And they're at home, and we see Nancy Loomis, the actor, my favorite character from Halloween, the OG. She is cast in this movie, just a little part, because I believe she was married to the writer-director of this movie at the time. She is here, and her husband comes home, and we meet our main character of the movie, who is Dan Chalice, Doc Dan. He comes home, and he's like, hey, kids, I got you these masks for Halloween.
I like when he makes his entrance. He's coming in from the rain, so he's got his coat over his head. But when he first walks in, he kind of looks headless, like he's been decapitated by Michael Myers or something.
And he's like, kids, I got you these shit masks. And the mom is like, I I don't know why you got them those, because I got them the silver Shamrock masks. And then the kids put them on. They're dancing to the theme song. The marketing here worked because the kids wanted these masks and they got them. We all know whatever era you're from, whether it be Pokemon cards, Pogs. Sorry, I'm just naming 90s things because that's what I am. But these kids wanted what they wanted, and these masks. So we see the doc, and he gets a call. He's a doctor, so he's like, I got to go to work. And we kind of put the picture together that this is his ex-wife, and that they share the kids.
Custody,
and they go back and forth with the kids, and he promises he'll take them out later, but he's got to go to work. So he goes to the hospital where he's working, and we see that this gas station attendant brought in this man, and he's like, hey, this guy says he's being chased, he's hurt, he needs, medical help. And the doctors are all looking at him, and it's fine. Later that night, though, it's this, like, suited man. The bad guys, the scary things, are dudes in suits.
They remind me of characters that would be in an episode of X-Files or Buffy or something.
Men in Black.
These robots or aliens or something taking human form,
right?
But seem slightly otherworldly because they show zero emotion and they're dressed in these cold suits.
No emotion and gray suits. And they show up to the hospital, and this one guy in a suit finds the hospital room with the guy they were chasing. They see him laying there under all the medical stuff, alone. And this man in the suit takes his hand and sticks his fingers into this guy's eyeball sockets and just, like, breaks his face.
This is crazy. This is one of the best deaths in the film. Give credit where it's due.
Sure.
We've seen, like, anyone who's watched Game of Thrones has seen the eye gouging thing. He pops the eyes with his thumb, but then with his index fingers kind of grabs below the cheekbone and just pulls. This is horrible.
This is rearranging this guy's face.
Yeah, this is gross, but pretty awesome.
So he does this and just kills this guy instantly and, like, walks off. And as a nurse later comes in and sees this guy's just been murdered, his face, his eyeballs are, like, missing, and the death is an awesome death, like getting popping the eyeballs out. She starts to scream. The Dr. Dan, who was kind of chilling, we kind of get the picture that he really likes to drink. He's like, even on the job, which is definitely not safe for a doctor to be an alcoholic.
It's the 80s.
Yeah, it's cool. So he's like, whoa, what's going on here? And realizes that this guy, like, just maybe has murdered someone. So he kind of chases this guy in the suit out of the hospital and sees the guy get into a car. As the guy in the suit is in his car, the suited man just covers himself, douses himself in gasoline, lights a match, and the whole car and himself explode. It was like a suicide mission, essentially. And this Dr. Dan had to watch this happen. And he was, like, horrified that he saw this. And then it kind of fast forward where, like, now there's police investigation. They're investigating why this guy did this. Why did he kill this guy? They show, like, his eyes and how they were taken out of his body, and just ridiculous. But the man who was murdered had a daughter who's, like, older, but has been now informed, like, yeah, like, your dad is dead. You might want to come. Is this actually your dad? You got to make sure it is him, because his face is kind of fucked up. Yeah. And the daughter's like, oh my God, can you not tell me what's happened? And they're like, actually, yeah, some guy killed himself. We're not too sure what's going on. Classic cop shit. They're like, we don't know what's going on. We can't help you. And then she's, like, crying, and the doctor's like, huh, that's unfortunate.
The doctor even goes, it was probably just some druggies. This doctor sucks.
This sucks.
This is your lead character. He's got a failed marriage. He's drinking on the job. He's blaming it on druggies, and now he's about to hit on this grieving daughter.
So he goes to a bar, and he's watching Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Myers on TV at the bar. And they're like, Halloween, the classic movie, tonight. And he's drinking. He's at the bar. But the Shamrocks song comes on. And he's like, for fuck's sakes, this song. And I'm telling you, this is, like, not even 10 minutes into this movie. I'm sick of the song already.
I think it's deliberate, though, because it's doing that kind of... The repetitiveness of it gives it a kind of hypnotic,
like, it is
sort of what's the film? Clockwork Orange. Like the hypnotizing, the subliminal messages, all of this, just the flashing and this constant nursery rhyme going over and over again.
It's brainwashing.
It is.
Yeah. So he's in this bar, and then the daughter of the man who was killed, who he tried to save and stuff, walks in, and they start to talk, and her name is Ellie, and she starts mentioning, like, I don't know what was going on, and she's like, can you tell me anything, Doc? And he's like, well, your dad, like, he was going crazy, he was holding on one of these Halloween masks, and I don't know what the hell was going on. And she's like, well, we got to get to the bottom of this. Like, why were these people after him, and why did he have this mask? So she's like, hey, Doc, I don't know you, but my dad just died. How about we go and try to solve this murder together? And he's like, he takes a second, and he's like, huh.
She's cute.
Huh. Calls up his ex-wife and goes, hey, remember when I said I was going to get the kids this weekend? Nah, sorry, I'm busy. And she's like, you're lying. Yeah, honey, I gotta go. Fuck off.
With a newer model.
Yeah, sorry. So they get in a car and they try to go towards the Silver Shamrock Novelties home base, the factory. Yeah. They're trying to get to the bottom of this. Why did my dad die? So they go to this small town outside of California, somewhere in California here. But it's a nice and cozy and quiet little town, and they get to this motel to try to like blend in and pretend they're a married couple and yada yada yada. But they realize there's a lot of weirdos in this small town. Some like other people checking in. The motel guy is kind of sketchy. It's interesting. So they're in this hotel and they're like, okay, like we'll camp out. We'll try to go to the thing. We'll try to figure out what happened to your dad and what's going on with these guys dousing themselves in gasoline. But then they're in their hotel room. And they're like, okay, so we gotta like pretend we're married. But he's like, I'll go sleep in the car. You know, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. And he's like, she's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, like I'll sleep in the car. It's probably better than like sleeping on like the couch or the floor here in this hotel room with you.
He knows what he's doing.
And she goes, well, where do you want to sleep? And then he's like, well, that's a dumb question. Lays one on her and they fuck.
Yeah. This move clearly worked.
Wow.
Like, no, it's cool. I'll just sleep in the cold car.
It's all
the cold, stiff, uncomfortable car. I just no, it'd be too weird. Be too weird if we shared a bed.
We can't get two beds. They'll know we're not a married couple. She's like, well, where do you want it? And he just take notes, gentlemen. Have you ever seen Wedding Crashers? You know, towards the end, when Will Ferrell's character is like, I go to funerals.
Right, yes.
That's what this guy's move is.
But also, it just shows attitudes are different in the 80s as well, because the fact that a man and a woman go to a hotel and be like, well, why else would we be together? We've got to say we're married.
Yeah.
Because now we just be like, your mates, we need two twins, you know? But it's 1982, and it's like, no, God, imagine the shame if we were to share a hotel room and not be married.
I know I was born in 1991, but I missed the 80s.
It's easier now. That's what I'm saying.
Now you have an app. Does it all for you. I don't know. So they realize that this town is suspicious. There's some weird things going on in this town. And there's a 6 p.m. curfew here in the town of Santa Mira. And I don't know if you caught the woman on the like voice thing. She's basically like, hey, remember town? The town has like these voice box things above the lights and stuff that like remind the whole town.
Speaker system.
It's kind of like how we're living in this pandemic now. Like, hey, you have a curfew. No matter how old you are, you got to be home by 6, which is a little fucking early. But the voice here, little cameo, Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah. So they are in their hotel room and they're having a few drinks, lounging around, and she's like, let's go again. And he's like, whoa, you'd never get tired. How old are you anyways? And she's like, old enough to party. This movie instantly took a turn. I'm like, what the fuck? Your dad died, you got in the car with a strange doctor, and then you sleep with him.
And then he's asking, how old are you after?
After the fact, he asks.
80s, dude.
Fuck, man. Fuck. This is tough. Anyways, so they basically, the doc tries to sneak out. He's like, I'm going to investigate the grounds and see some things. Realistically, I think he's trying to get his drink on. I think he's trying to find something to drink, right. Which he ends up finding a bottle. But then some bum on the street is like, hey, you got a light? Can I have a sip of that? And he's like, yeah, all right. And he kind of gets some information out of this stranger, and he's talking about this man named Cochran, Tom Cochran. He says, or is Tom Cochran the singer? He says, look, there's this guy, and he's the leader of this whole town, this whole Silver Shamrocks. But then we see this drunk guy meets the men in suits, and they have like scary flashlights. And then you talked about the death earlier, where they just decide to put their fingers in the guy's eye sockets and kill him. Well, this one's just take his head off his shoulders. That's the kill.
Yes.
How do we kill this guy? Well, if you just take his head off, it kills him. So that's the second death. This bum.
Yep. Poor guy. We hardly knew you.
Drinking is not good for you, obviously. We see another gratuitous sex scene. And this is what's even more fucked. I already mentioned this woman's dad died. She's like in mourning. She's trying to solve the murder. And then got in a car and drove to a strange town. You know what she keeps in her suitcase? Lingerie. Because that's what she's wearing.
Hey, I'm not blaming this woman at all. This guy shouldn't be taking advantage of this.
He is.
Not only did her dad die, he had his fucking skull crushed. Like, sorry, I don't know what would be going through my head. I might be packing all kind of weird shit. I don't know. I'm grieving right now. It's this fucking Dan guy, prick.
Yeah, they're having sex to like elevator music, which is really weird. That's another red flag. If someone's like, hold on, I got to put this new Weekend album on. Okay, cool. But hold on, I got to put some elevator music on. Like, no, what? No, stop it. Then the commercial comes on for Silver Shamrock. And he's like, oh, I can't believe this commercial again. It just never stops. So, yeah, this is when he asks how old you are. And it's like, you maybe should have asked that before, dude. You fucked up doctor. So we see one of the neighbors that we met, like at the motel, like the sketchy people, Marge. She's in her own room, and she's playing with one of the Silver Shamrock masks. And she's like, what is this little remote-controlled chip on one of these masks? And she's poking around with like a hairpin and doing all sorts of stuff. And it accidentally laser beams her face off.
Oh dear.
Like,
painful.
Like just her mouth explodes. It's like her lips and kind of cheekbones have like disintegrated, and all that's left is like her teeth and jaw is still intact.
Hey.
It's a pretty cool makeup job, I'd say. It's interesting.
Yeah, look decent.
And then
I think some of the deaths in this film are actually pretty cool.
But then I don't know if this would happen. If a laser beam shot your face off, would bugs start to crawl out of your face? I don't think that would happen. Or does the laser have bugs in it?
Magic.
Okay. Got you. Now I'm on the same page. We see Dan. He's like, oh, what was that sound and light flashing? I'm gonna go check out what's going on over there. And then he just sees like this van of dudes in like white lab coats, and they just take the woman's body away. And he's like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, we're gonna take her to the factory and fix her. He's like, fix her? She's fucking dead. You can't take her to a factory. He's like, no, it's fine. Please get out of here. And we see Mr. Cochran shows up. And never trust the old rich white guy. There's always an old rich white guy, and he's always evil. And he's like, don't worry about it.
So this was for me William Regal on Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
You know, like, this guy seems super nice and polite.
Yeah.
He's well dressed. He's got
an accent.
He's got an accent. But there's something off. There's something sinister.
Yeah.
That was this guy.
So
probably the best actor in this fucking film.
The doc the next day calls like a lady friend back in the city, and he's like, I need you to look over some tests about the body and the car that was burned and stuff. And she's like, okay, I'll look into it. But he doesn't realize his phone was being tapped. The next day they pretend they're a married couple, him and Ellie. And they go to like the tour of Silver Shamrocks, and Cochran's there, and they learn how the masks are made, and you see them using like all the stuff to make these rubber masks. And there's a kid in the family there on the tour, and he's given one, a little pumpkin mask. There's a pumpkin mask, a witch mask, and a skeleton. And these are all masks you can buy. I know that because anytime Shotzi Blackheart posts anything on her Instagram in her house, in her room. She's got all 3 on her wall.
And these all got made during the film.
Yeah.
Were being sold everywhere and stuff. Yeah.
So, so they have this tour where they're looking at all the masks, and Dan realizes that there's like men in suits that look similar, and they stop Ellie from going to her dad's car because they go, "Hey, that's my dad's car," but the suits jump on her and steal her, and the phones aren't working, and now Ellie's gone missing, and then the suits are after him. So Dan gets the hell on out of there. He's like, "See ya, Ellie, thanks. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Yep. I'm out of here." We see a woman sitting and knitting, and then her head falls off. And the guy's like, "What the hell's going on?" And he turns, and he's being chased by the suits. So he starts to punch them, but they no-sell. He's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And it starts to click in that maybe these guys are not guys. Maybe they're not human. Maybe they're like robots or aliens or something. So then they try to crush his head and just take his head off the shoulders. So then he punches one in one specific section, and then all of a sudden the robot person starts to just like ooze out yellow blood.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, which we've looked up why it had yellow blood, and apparently it's just orange juice.
It's orange, really thick orange juice. This looked more like an orange smoothie.
Would it be with pulp?
I think no. They stated no pulp on the thing we watched, but this is thick. Maybe it's been like sat out for a while. I don't know.
So it's all orange goo, and the leader here, Cochran, he's like, "It's Halloween. It's time." So it's now Halloween day, and Cochran takes Dan after being kidnapped. He's got him under his command now, and he says, "Look at my lab." And he classic villain of any fucking movie, where he's like, "Hey, you're the good guy. Here's my entire plan I'm going to reveal to you."
Yes.
Which is, his plan is, they're running all these evil schemes and everything. And you guessed it. Any kid who puts on the mask and listens to the commercial jingles on the specific time at like 9 p.m. on Halloween night, some things are going to happen. And then they reference Stonehenge and the witchcraft.
Yep.
So much stupid.
Because all this magic's coming together on Halloween night.
So he's like, "Watch this." And they've got cameras on in this like one demo room, or like the motel room essentially. And it's the kid earlier, one of the neighbors in the motel, who's got the pumpkin mask. And the kid puts on the pumpkin mask, and the family, they're watching this commercial. It's Halloween, Halloween. But then the kid who's wearing the pumpkin mask, the mask tightens on his head, starts to squish the kid's head, like shrinking like a burning pumpkin. And the kid just starts screaming and falls to the ground, and the head is like melted and gross and disgusting. And then just cockroaches and bugs and spiders and snakes start to come out of the kid's head. And the family are screaming and shouting and yelling, and more snakes are coming out of it.
And at first the parents think he's just like joking around, so they're laughing, and then they're like, "Ah! Ah! Ah!"
And then a snake bites the dad. It's like Jake the Snake Roberts.
This is the best death.
This is the best death.
This is the scene that's played a bunch.
Yeah.
This looks really cool. Although I hate
snakes.
I'm okay with snakes. I hate like swarms of bugs and shit. So all the cockroaches coming out made me feel really. Ugh.
I'm not gonna lie. I will be completely honest and transparent. I was watching this, and I write notes when we watch these things. I had my computer on my table, and I'm sitting at the edge of my couch and typing and watching the movie. And then this scene started to happen, and I realized I had now lifted my legs off the ground and put them on my bed.
Oh, really?
So maybe me and you are on the same page. I do not like bugs. I can get over bugs.
It's one bug I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Like a spider in the corner room, whatever. Even a cockroach, you're gross, but like it's whatever. It's swarms. Like multiples of like ants, flies, bugs, maggots, worms, like all that.
Okay, well,
it makes me feel really uncomfortable.
We need to unpack this because it doesn't make sense that snakes and bugs would come out of a kid.
No, it does. It's magic. It's the mask. It's Stonehenge. It's witches.
Just fucking snakes coming out. And I'm not talking mini snakes.
It doesn't make sense that a pumpkin mask will suddenly, like, restrict and crush your head.
No. That's more believable that they have a computer chip.
It's called Season of the Witch. It's magic.
So they reveal that they are, in fact, using Stonehenge as, like, the source of their power and magic to summon spiders, cockroaches, and giant snakes that come out of kids' heads. And that's how they're going to take over the fucking world with kids and snakes. Pretty ingenious, pretty evil. So it shows that, like, tonight is Halloween, and his plan, Cochrane's plan here, is to take over the whole world, at least the United States, because all these kids are going to rush home from trick-or-treating, and they're going to come home and then watch this and then die, and then hopefully kill all their parents. And he just wants people to die. That's what this guy wants. He doesn't like people, essentially. He's like Thanos. He's like, you know what? Maybe if we
just cull a bit, getting a bit carried away.
Yeah.
We've got doctors just fucking grieving women in random motel rooms all the time. We need to restrict this and have a bit of a cull.
Yeah. His motive's not that bad. So he's like, we're gonna kill all these kids and it's all this stuff. And again, he's revealing his whole plan a little. He's shooting his wad a little early here. So Dan is like, fuck, I gotta stop this. So somehow, the suit man, they attack Dan, and he somehow like escapes out of here. And it's kind of ridiculous here. They show that Ellie has been like strapped to like a table at one point, and they're gonna do like science and drills into her head and stuff like that. Sorry, no, this is where Dan is his friend who was checking in on the car, and she's like, oh, like the body that was burned in the car was not a body; it was like robotic parts. Therefore, we were right. These suit people are just created by Cochrane. But then the suits show up and literally drill this woman in the head and kill her.
Poor girl.
We recently did a review on our Patreon for Up Yours. It was of Frankenhooker. And drills in that movie did a lot different things.
Oh, they made you think better.
Yeah, if you drilled your own head, you were smarter.
But remember he had his diagram.
Yeah,
he had
smart.
to target certain numbers, certain parts of the brain.
This one is just the evil guy's drill.
The wrong part. Yeah,
she did drill him in that. It's Happy Halloween. So the world is going to change tonight, Doctor, and I'm glad you're going to watch it, says Cochrane. Happy Halloween. So they basically like tie him up to a chair, and they're like, it's Halloween. Here's the OG Halloween on TV for you. Yeah. And they play the movie, and he's like, yeah, all right, this isn't bad. So he's watching that, but he's trapped to this. But somehow he escapes. It's classic James Bond. I'm the lead villain. I told you my plan, and you're going to die, but I'm not going to watch you die. I'm busy. I got to go do other things. So he escapes. Yeah. So he escapes. He tries to try to find Ellie, and he finds her. So he unstraps her, he saves her, and they're trying to save the world here. They're pushing all the buttons randomly, trying to just fuck up the whole algorithm of this whole
have the commercials taken off and all that. Yeah.
He's trying to fuck up everything, but he obviously doesn't really know what he's doing. So he pushes a whole whack load of buttons. He's beep, boop, boop, beep. He leaves. They run away. All these robots are exploding and dying. There's orange juice everywhere. He's got like microchips. He's throwing those away. It's kind of shit. It looks really shit. This is your main...
It's 80s tech, right? Like...
So there's like lasers, and Cochrane's head like turns into a ghost or white or something. I don't even know what the fuck this dude turns into. This is weird. Yeah. It didn't make any. He just disappears.
Magic.
Because he's a witch, a warlock.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So everything blows up as Dan and Ellie escape this factory in this small town, and like you see like the shitty explosions in the background. They're not cool because they looked back at the explosions. Yeah. Big mistake. So they're leaving, they're fleeing, and he's like, we gotta get back to California. Like, my kids, they have these masks. They're gonna fucking turn into snakes and cockroaches. And Ellie's like, not really responding like the way she was. And he's like, Ellie, are you all right? And Ellie turns heel. It's a swerve, bro. She's a robot.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't see this coming.
When you got the swerve, you're like, whoa!
You got me.
So she starts to try to kill him, and he's like, oh shit, so she's a robot, and he grabs like a tire iron from the back of his car and just smashes her head off.
This felt kind of like The Evil Dead to me. You know, when the body's being kind of like decapitated and stuff, but the arm is still grabbing
Yeah.
I think he starts beating her with her own arm at one point, or am I just getting confused with Halloween Havoc? I don't know, we've watched a lot
of horror shit. He takes her head clean off, and it starts spewing out, like, has got robot parts and, like, spewing out orange goop and
blood.
everything, and, the reason is he doesn't double tap. Well, I mean, he did earlier, but he doesn't double tap, and that's when you're right. He grabs like her arm, and finally she dies. I'm pretty sure he eventually uses her own arm.
I think so,
and
yeah.
beats her to death. The robot has finally died. So he's like, holy shit, that was a lot of work. So he rushes, he gets in the car, he drives, and I think he makes it to the same gas station that the guy in the beginning of the movie was like running to and screaming. So he makes it to the gas station, and he sees the TV is on, and they're still running these ads saying, 5 minutes to get home. And he's calling the TV stations. He's calling all these TV stations airing these movies and spots tonight. And he's like, hey, you need to turn this off. I know it sounds crazy, but like, you're going to air this and a lot of people are going to die. Like, I know this sounds like a Halloween prank, but I swear on my life, like this is real. And they're like, come on, man, it's Halloween. And he's like, get it off the air! Get it off the air! And he just starts screaming this repeatedly. And you see these shots. I'd say my favorite part of this movie are these shots. And it's just of kids like trick-or-treating. The poster of this movie, the whole like push and artwork of this movie is like the three masks and kids. So when you think Season of the Witch, you see like the three kids trick-or-treating. And you see, like, they're just trick-or-treating in California, in the hills here, like, trick-or-treating. And it's really, it looks really cool. It looks really spooky. The visual for a little minute or two here is an awesome shot. But they're all going home because they all want to watch this thing. So as this movie kind of ends, it leaves you on a cliffhanger as he's like, get it off the air!
So he manages to get, like, some of the channels off, but then it's left on channel 3. And he's calling channel 3 as he's screaming.
Get it off the air!
And it's like the spinning top in Inception. Did it fall? You go, did he? It's like, did they take it off?
Did they?
Or did loads of children just die?
Wow.
I actually really liked the ending. I liked the kind of, they built to a suspense and you don't know what happened.
Oh.
And I can see a movie, even horror films, I can see you maybe not getting away with showing loads of kids die. So to leave that up to your imagination, and if you like good endings, they're fine. Channel 3 pulled the plug. If you're a sadist and like horror films and kind of, no, come on, the baddie's got to win. It's horror. Yeah. They dead.
Okay, so what do you think?
I think they're dead.
Yeah, I think the kids died.
Yeah, they all died.
You cynical bastard. So the ending leaves you on, obviously, like you said, Inception the guys who made Inception were like,
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he saw this and was like, I'm going to do this. Big fan
of, what's the guy's name? Bobby Lee Thornton? No.
Doc.
Tommy Lee, no.
Doc.
Tommy Lee Rogers. What's his name? The director.
Tommy Lee Wallace.
Tommy Lee Wallace.
So we're left in suspense. Did the kids die? Or I say fuck them.
They did.
And that's it, as the theme plays, and you see the flashing pumpkin, like, freaking you out, kind of giving you a seizure almost, like, do-do-do-do. And that is Halloween 3. Wow.
Yes. So, this isn't great. But there are things I like about it. I actually like the plot. It feels like, as I said, a plot that you'd take from... This feels like a Halloween episode of Doctor Who, or Buffy, or X-Files, or something like that. The idea of these toy makers, mask makers, whatever, going to turn or kill all the kids on Halloween with these masks. It seems, it feels maybe more Doctor Who-ish for me. I like the plot. I said before, I don't find the lead character likable, and I think that's a big problem.
Yes.
You want to be on the lead side, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't find him likable at all. I found Cochrane kind of scary. I thought he was good. I also liked, there's a moment on one of the commercials where I'm a big fan of saying the name of the film in the film.
When do they say it?
They say in one of the commercials,
it must be Season of the Witch.
No, they go, and it's Halloween 3 masks you can get from us. And they say Halloween 3, masks, where it's Halloween 3 masks you can get from us.
Yes, they're trying to make sure.
And they do, it's Halloween 3 masks you can get from us. And I audibly went, that's the name of the movie!
Yeah, great stuff. I gotta get me these out of the 3 masks, which one would you want?
I do like the Pumpkinhead one, maybe
Yeah.
because that's the best death.
Yeah.
I kind of like the witch one.
Yeah.
The skeleton one's a bit naff.
Yeah, they're all pretty basic.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can buy these masks still.
Yes.
They still sell these masks. This movie has nothing to do with the rest of this series, and like you said, is kind of like outcasted because no one really wants to see this movie. But it has become a cult classic in its own, like...
I think there's a
fun.
way to make this film good, this plot good.
Yeah.
It's not a bad concept, and I think it's maybe to have the name Halloween. Take the fact Michael Myers is out of it, but I think what's so good about Halloween 1, and to a certain extent 2, is the small scale of it. It's the fact that it's all just, you can relate to it. It's all just in a suburban town where this could happen to you. Whereas this, the scale is a bit bigger by, we now go on a road trip and we're going to this big science factory and stuff. And it suddenly feels a bit less relatable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
therefore it doesn't feel as Halloween. And of course Halloween gets bigger and crazier in set pieces and stuff as they go along. But at this point, I think if you could have somehow done this film and made it a bit more relatable, where now it's Halloween and you're terrified to put on a Halloween mask because I saw what happened in that film to those kids, you know? I definitely think there are good things that you could do with this film. I like ambiguous endings personally. I like
Where you
filling in the blanks
Yeah,
yourself.
you have to figure it out.
It was kind of dull.
Yeah. It's really boring. I again, you know I'm obsessed with these movies,
Yeah.
dude. And I told you a few years ago, like, don't bother watching this one. I find this one boring.
Yeah,
That's how I find it.
It's pretty dull.
Yeah.
I do like some of the visuals. I think that moment where they're driving to the other town, and it's just a kind of spooky, like, grey, barren road trip they're doing, and with the music, feels kind of spooky. The
Yeah.
thunder and lightning at the beginning. I think they set the mood pretty well. Just it's a bit boring.
Yeah. I agree with you on the best deaths. I believe there's 9 body counts in this movie.
Oh,
meaning
I
9.
can only remember 2.
Yeah, I remember 2 because they're good ones. There's a
Eye
laser to
gouge.
the face.
Eye gouge and the pumpkin. But to be fair, that's better than some films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't enjoy this movie. I've only seen this now. I think this is like the third, maybe second time I've watched this movie. I watch a lot of the other ones back, like I mentioned. I watched the first one with commentary because I'm a nerd, but this one doesn't have the same Halloween feel, you know? It doesn't have that, like, something's totally not there. But
Even if that theme, because there is a moment where it's not even a remix, they just have the bum 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 bit. But even if, like, your lead character, when it was towards the end, and it's like, okay, it's time to fuck shit up, like, you realize what's happened, you know who the bad guys are, and if he just grabbed a weapon now to mean business, maybe just pick up a fucking butcher's knife, you know? And then if the theme just came in there, I think I might just pop for that and be like, all right, we mean business.
Or when, like,
when
when Cochran, the evil guy, not Tom Cochran, but Cochran is like, I'm going to tell you my plan. I used Stonehenge to conjure up all this magic and witchcraft and stuff. In fact, it worked when I used it on this boy in Haddonfield. And it's like, what?
yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Or just, have it when he's freaking out on the phone at the end. Just that riff just start really low and quiet and build up, and then Channel 3, turn it off.
3, yeah, get it off the air. Yeah.
I'm glad I've watched it.
You've now finally watched it. And you can say you've watched it. We're recording this on the day of when they've just shown us the teaser for Halloween Kills.
Yes.
Coming out 2021. Yes, they're still pumping out these
I can't
fucking
wait.
movies.
One of Mike Hogan, friend of the show,
Yeah.
has pitched, and I want you to say your thoughts of this.
Okay.
But Blumhouse, that's the production company now that owns all these horrors, starting to have loose crossovers and having like their own cinematic universe.
Right.
How would you feel about that?
I came up with a better idea the other day.
Okay.
When I was watching Hubie Halloween.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen it
Not
yet.
yet.
Great film. Fantastic film. I was watching that and I just went, how do I contact Adam Sandler into making an Adam Sandler universe film where all his characters cross over in one movie. I don't know. Who would you... Because obviously they've done Jason versus Freddy versus Jason. But they've always... Like, people have always like, well, you could do Michael versus Jason. The fact is, Michael Myers never... out of like the one curse movie, he's not magic. He's just a guy in a mask who kills people.
I'm looking at the ones that might work crossing over. So their properties include Paranormal Activity, Insidious, Sinister, The Purge, The Gift, Split, Get Out, Happy Death Day, Upgrade, Halloween, and The Invisible Man. I think Halloween, Invisible Man, and Purge.
Okay.
Michael Myers coming out on The Purge.
On The Purge?
Cool. Could be cool.
He kills you anyways. I don't think he'd wait for a specific... I mean, he waits for Halloween.
But that got me thinking the other day, and I was chatting to my friend who's also just watching a bunch of horror films.
Yeah.
We came up with Halloween Home Alone.
Okay. Yeah. So what, you're stuck in a house?
So Kevin McAllister's stuck in his house.
Now, though, like the old Kevin.
Yeah, old Kevin. It's 2020. You can do wonderful things with technology.
Yeah.
Young Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
In his house.
The night he came
looks
home.
outside, and you just got Joe Pesci and Marv like decapitated outside,
geez.
and Michael Myers is coming to fuck him up,
Damn.
but he's still doing all the like baubles on the landing, and all the like heating up the handles so Michael Myers hurts his hand.
Jeez, wow. What Michael Myers versus?
You're smiling like you hate it, but you love it.
I feel like it would be like a cartoon. Maybe a version, like a short film.
real
real
film.
What about a crossover with Mike Myers and Michael Myers?
Sorry, Mike Myers and Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah, baby.
What about if Michael Myers is like the Joe Pesci character?
Right.
Maybe Michael Myers or Mike Myers
Yeah.
could be the other dude. I can't remember his name.
I feel like we will. So Blumhouse has announced that they've already made these movies, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, which is supposed to become the first. Kills was supposed to be out now, but the pandemic, they pushed it till next year, which is going to be in IMAX, which I'm super excited to watch Michael Myers kill people in IMAX. That's a dream come true for me. And then the year following is the last one. So literally after those two movies, you wait 5 years. Of course they're going to pump out more of these.
They're going to wait 5.
Exactly. Yeah. They're going to reboot it again like Rob Zombie did. They're going to do something. And I feel like if they do own the properties to other things, they could totally do some sort of crossover type thing. People always were going nuts with, again, Alien versus Predator, Freddy versus Jason. Imagine like a whole group of like there's a movie called The Monster Squad in the 80s where it's like these kids fight all the Universal monsters. You just have the Monster Squad where it's these kids fight
Freddy, Jason, Michael,
the Hit Squad,
Ghostface,
Killer Squad. Yeah, all of them.
Leatherface.
Yeah. Ghostface would not add up to Michael. Michael would slay him, would wash the floor with him.
But Ghostface could be revealed to actually be Jason because it's always different.
See, I hate Jason.
It's Jason and Freddy teaming up on Michael Myers.
Jason's a shit one because Jason's just like, nah, I'll just teleport.
You just don't like magic. Don't want magic in my horror films.
Yeah, I don't want magic in my horror films, and I don't want magic in my house or over Zoom. No seances. I don't believe in the occult.
So again, the offer's still there. Hit me up at Davie Portman if anyone wants a Zoom seance. Very friendly.
A friendly seance. Oh, Casper's going to show up. Yeah. All right, cool.
Speak to my nan again. That would be nice.
That's, of all people, you pick your nan. Of all people. No offense to your nan, but I feel like...
No, I'm not getting into which ones of my dead friends and relatives I want to hit up.
Oh my God.
I'm just being lighthearted. Like, let's not prioritize my dead relatives.
I just want to hang out with Jim Morrison.
Okay.
That'd be my pick. If you can figure out that in the seance, you're in.
No, you're not in the seance. No. Not hitting up Jim Morrison.
You can hang out with...
No, we will. I'll be like, yeah, it was great. I hung out with Jim Morrison. What did you do, you fraud? Halloween fraud.
I'm just going to be at home in my mask.
Busy dressed as a sloth. How spooky. Meanwhile, I'm hanging out with my nan and Jim Morrison.
I'd love to hang out with your nan and Jim Morrison.
We have one piece of feedback for this, because I think everyone was like, they're doing the one Michael Myers isn't in. It's from Robert X, who, I'm just going to say it, long time, first time. I don't know. I don't recognise your name, Robert.
Okay.
But hello, welcome.
Hello, Robert X.
He says, I loved that movie. Great to see that the franchise has a different and original story than one that's already original, in my opinion, that is.
So he likes it.
He liked it being
I said,
different.
there is a cult following of this film. They're like, hey, standalone movie, this wouldn't be that bad. So I understand it. But as a fan, I love the fact that Michael Myers is the character you've created and became he's an iconic character in the world of pop culture. And the fact that you just, whose idea was like, yo, that one thing that works, let's get rid of it. I wanted to be in the room to see where that happened.
You know what, for Halloween 4, just to kind of, because isn't it, I haven't watched all the Fast and the Furious films, but isn't there a film that ties Tokyo Drift to everything?
Yeah.
Because Tokyo Drift is completely separate,
right,
and then
yeah.
they like tie it together.
They do bring it together, yeah.
The beginning of Halloween 4 should have been someone putting the pumpkin mask on like dead Michael Myers as this was all happening, and it has the reverse effect to him.
Right.
So instead of killing him, it gives him his strength and everything.
Wow.
And he takes it back off, and he's like...
So you'd be wearing 2 masks?
Yeah.
Wow, well, that's good. You should be wearing 1 mask.
I need to work for Hollywood. Full of ideas.
Obviously, you do. That was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. The next time we'll be talking about Halloween is a year from today.
Yes, Halloween 4 will be released on October 31st, 2021.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers will be the next one. Next year, following this one. So go check out that. Patreon.com/upNXT. We've reviewed many horror movies on the Patreon. We've done Scream. We've done Nightmare on Elm Street, Gremlins, Terminator. We've just done The Evil Dead. We did some Twilight Zone this month. We've done so much stuff.
Frankenhooker.
Yeah, there's so many wild and different movie reviews up on the Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to everything. Everything we've done on there, including all the wrestling shows, Best Match Ever, Was Next, and all that stuff, if you liked us here talking about this ridiculous movie. And if you did, well, thank you for making it this far. Thank you for listening and supporting us. Happy Halloween, wherever you may be. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upNXT Podcast to check out our Halloween costumes, including Hangman Herrington and Davie Breeze. Hey, look, everyone, it's Tyler. And I myself, Braden Herrington. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at the Brady.
And I am at Davie Portman.
Take care of yourselves. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Trick or treat. Smell my feet. Give me something good to eat. Take care. Goodbye. Happy Halloween. And get it off the air.
Ahoy!